Okay guys, I'm trying to make a video and I feel like it's important, but it's like the third time I'm filming this and I keep getting interrupted. So let's see if I'm gonna make it to the end or not and if I can get this out there. Okay, let's say you've decided you want to lose weight and you've made a plan, and maybe you've made the plan with me or with somebody else, like a diet coach or something like that, a dietitian. And then the plan looks good, but you are not able to adhere to it. To adhere means to follow it exactly like it's written, or at least like 90% of it. If you're not able to follow the plan, then a number of things can be going on. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is if you can't follow the plan, um, at least, somewhat well, then you need to look at the plan and change it. Because either you're not in a place in your life where you can make changes to your food, maybe you don't have the energy or the mental bandwidth or the time to cook, to buy foods, to pay attention to your intake, to pay attention to how well you're sleeping and how well you're resting, to have a little bit of time to yourself when you're overwhelmed so that you don't resort to eating something in order to keep going and get that fast energy. So the other thing that could be going on is that maybe the plan is a bit too restrictive. It doesn't allow you to have any joy, anything that makes you feel like you've got something special that you can eat once in a while, or like on occasion, say you're going out or going camping or doing something that's out of the ordinary. You want to have a little bit of flexibility built into those days. So perhaps you just haven't built flexibility into those days. So the way that this scenario usually plays out is that people are very good at adhering to the plan before the trip, and then they go on a trip and then they kind of go fly off the handle and eat all the things without any plan. But then they also come home and continue to do that because they have this mentality of like, might as well keep going. I'm never going to be able to follow a plan. That is not the case. You will be able to follow a plan. You just have to get the information and then tweak it and figure out where did this go off the rails, so to speak. So where can I make changes to it in the future? So for instance, let's say you went out for a trip out of town and perhaps you just didn't have a plan at all for the trip and how you're going to handle it. And then you just ate all the things at a buffet in the hotel, and then you had some lunch out and some dinner out and maybe even some ice cream or desserts or treats. That can be a lot. That can add up to a lot of calories. That will probably mean that you're not going to be like making any progress with the weight loss and probably regaining a fair bit of it. And then say you come back and you feel a little bit defeated and you're like, well, what do I do now? Do I go back to my plan? With this idea that maybe you just can't follow it. So what's going on there is that basically you just didn't plan for the trip. Usually when you go for a trip, you need to have quite a bit of time spent planning your meals. Like for instance, you want to plan your breakfasts and your lunches ahead of time and maybe build a little bit of flexibility around dinner. And the flexibility can look like I'm going to have a protein, I'm going to have a carb, I'm going to have a salad or something like that, and maybe I'm gonna have either a dessert or a glass of wine twice during the week, something like that. So the flexibility has to be there, but it cannot be like 100% flexibility. There has to be some structure as well. It's a fine play between structure and relaxation. Right. You got to have some structure, but you also have to have a little bit of leeway built into there. Because if you're too rigid, rigidity by itself will eventually lead to failure. And too much flexibility, that's already kind of how we got into trouble to begin with. So we don't want to go there. I hope this makes sense. So what I'm trying to say is if you're not able to follow your plan, it's not because you have like no motivation or you have no willpower. It's nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the plan itself and your ability to adhere to the plan. If you're generally somebody that has trouble adhering to a plan that changes all the time, then make it very repetitive. Make your foods repetitive. If you're somebody that gets bored all the time, then have a little bit of, novelty in there where you choose different recipes, presumably from a book that has maybe low fat and somewhat low calorie recipes, or whatever it is that your plan would say, but something that would fit your plan, and then just incorporate those. So work with what your life is like, work with what your personality is like, and build some flexibility, but not too much. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. It's never you. If you fail a plan, so to speak, it's not because of something that, like, it's not because you're wrong and you don't know how to do this and so on. It's something to do with the plan itself. It needs to be changed. So think critically about it, because you will be on this plan for the rest of your life, whatever it is. So you'll need to find something that is sort of going to work for you for the rest of your life. So, you have to work at finding it, and you have to be happy with it. This is not a white knuckling situation. Okay, bye.